You're just a civilian now.
Mr. James Ford. General Ryle is requesting your inimitable counsel.
No.
He's offered to reinstate you.
From the top.
4 hours ago, the crew of the Vander made first contact.
Stay there.
I read that the film was kind of trying, because the look of it looked really great. And I read that you guys were trying to go creating ultra environments reminiscent to video games. Were there specific video games that you were inspired by?
Halo, Halo and Gears of War. Yeah, quite a few. Yeah. We definitely wanted to just give it that larger than life 80s energy, because it's interesting how films from the 80s influenced the look of video games leading up to today as well. Yeah. And now we're going back to trying to replicate that look. So it's this full cycle of Ouroboros coming together.
Yeah, and I felt that too. It did. It actually gave me kind of like a Tron vibe a little bit too. So it was. Yes. Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah. Very cool. I like the music as well. That had an 80s vibe to me too.
Yeah, so the soundtrack is done by a guy called Vitaly Dobin, and he's a Russian friend of mine, and he's a rock star in Russia, but outside of Russia, not many people know him. So all of those tracks that you hear, like the bar scene, the ending, a couple other moments, that's all Dobin. And I was so happy I was able to get him to come on board to tweak a few of the songs and all that. So he's a really good dude.
Yeah. No, it was great. So I understand, did you guys shoot this film March 2020? Is that correct?
Yeah. So you know what's crazy? Just before I got on this, my little Google reminded me that yesterday was Bruce's first day on Cosmic Sin. Whoa. So yeah, we made the movie in 9 days, and we had it was supposed to be a lot longer, but the pandemic was coming, and we all knew the shutdown was approaching. And so on day 8, they said, Ed, you've only got 1 more day. You need to shoot anything you can to make sense of this story. So we, and that was also a safety thing. We didn't know no one knew at that point what COVID was doing. So we had to take the cast and crew safety into account and make sure that we made a kick-ass little story as well.
Wow, you made that in 9 days? Yeah. So was there a lot of post-production afterwards?
There was a bit, yeah, no more than we'd already anticipated for. I think the editor, Justin Williams, and I, we hit it off immediately. Justin and I have now worked on 3 films together, and we've only met once. So because we met the November before quarantine, or before COVID hit, and then we did all of post-production over Zoom, texting back clips, being like, no, this, that. And then I worked with a really good VFX team, and I have a lot of experience in visual effects, so I was able to jump in and do a few shots myself. So yeah.
Very
crazy.
Cool. Did you have a particular scene that you most enjoyed shooting?
The bar fight was pretty cool. Yeah, opening bar fight. I wanted to take the Bruce that we had, the Bruce that he is now. There's moments of John McClane there, but he's just gruff. He's ready to just jump into that kind of a character. So I really was very fortunate to be able to write knowing that Bruce was going to be playing that role. Yeah. And I was just trying to hit every single one of his grace notes of what I knew we could get out of him. So it was
right. Awesome. Was he just as incredible as anyone would imagine to work with?
He's very cheeky. Yeah. So he can't understand a word I say because of my accent. So I think that's why we work so well together. I'll just direct him and he'll be like, okay, Englishman. And I was like, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I know that in preparation for this film and when you were researching, you took a lot of notes on different books based on the subject matter. Was there a particular book or note that really stood out while you were researching?
Yeah, Sapiens was a huge one for me. I really delved into just the concepts of how civilizations, reach a point where when you're either going to be coming into contact with another society, how do you deal with that approach? Is it like a bartering system, or is it like we are going to take their resources and stuff like that? And so Sapiens, the three body problem is an incredible trilogy. I mean, honestly changed the way that I looked at sci-fi. It's a very Eastern approach to some of the very same concepts that like Isaac Asimov was talking about in Foundation, but completely turned on its head because it's coming at it from a completely different perspective. But yeah, I'm a big reader, so I like to steal liberally from everywhere I can.
Right. Well, it's interesting you bring that up because while I was watching, I was thinking, I was like, I don't know how I would handle this. And I'm imagining as you were working on this, you probably thought about that. Like if you were to made first contact with an alien civilization, how would you handle that so that we wouldn't be led to war?
Well, what's really interesting is that literally in like the days of pre-production on Cosmic, a preemptive strike, the US launched a preemptive strike on a general in the hopes of averting a conflict. And so we're already seeing, like, this isn't a new concept. What we've done is just one of the great things with sci-fi is you can talk about so many big ideas and you can just, put another layer of like, flashy laser guns on top, but you can still be talking about some really important stuff. And that was really at the heart of what we were going for and striving for with Cosmic Sin.
Right. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I was also thinking, the war's going on here to save humanity. But if this was happening and you realize, all right, human race is going to end, how would you want to spend your last days?
With a gin and tonic on a beach somewhere, and a good book, and with the people I love. Yeah.
Very good. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that the title of the film comes from the idea that getting rid of someone's culture is so unforgivable that the cosmos wouldn't forgive it. Why do you think it's wrong to get rid of someone's culture?
I think we're still seeing today cultural erasure, and I think that social media has even exacerbated and sped that up quite a bit. And being able to tell people what they can and can't say and being incredibly draconian with it, it's quite oppressive. And so hopefully there's that double meaning as well. I think the one thing that I hope audiences take away is that the humans in this story aren't the good guys. And when you look at how every event plays out, humans fired the first shot, and then they immediately sought to try and fire the last shot. And I just was hopefully trying to create some anti-heroes that were, wrangling with these very complex themes that,
It's interesting that you say that too, because I felt that while watching. I was like, why am I not rooting for these people? Because I feel like they're not that great. And
no, they're not. No.
Yeah, but that comes back to the whole, I think we're trained to feel like whenever people are the main character, we're supposed to be rooting for them, even if they're not good. So I don't know how you balance that and like what you're supposed to, it makes you question what you're supposed to feel.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's why a lot of audiences are having a hard time with Cosmic, is because they're so used to being spoon-fed. Like, this is the hero, this is the good guy saving the. But the aliens were attempting peace when they took Bruce into the cave. That was for peace talks, and then another soldier just screwed that up again. So, I really hope people take a second to really try and study exactly the chain of events that lead us to the conclusion.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's very thought-provoking, honestly. Well, did you have a favorite, like what was your favorite part of working on this movie?
Wrapping it. We had an awesome wrap party. We were we knew that the lockdown was coming in we had an hour, and as everything was packing up, it was me and Josh Cole, Bobby Lane, and one of our stuntsies, and we all got together in the parking lot and we cheers, because at that point nobody knew when we'd work on a film set again. And so it was this beautiful moment of like, guys, we are here, present in the moment. Let's just be grateful for this incredible experience. And that was really special. That was a great moment.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I said earlier, I really did think this film I just thought it was really shot very well and beautiful, and
Yeah.
I love the music. But I was wondering, do you have any filmmakers or maybe a movie that inspired you to want to make a film in the first place?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to Brandon Cox, our cinematographer for Cosmic Sin. I've worked with Brandon a couple more times now, and he's just such a great, down to earth dude, amazing collaborator. And as soon as I said I want to make an 80s movie in 2020, he was like, right, mate, I got you. Let's go. We're going to put neon lights everywhere, even where they shouldn't be. And I was like, oh, well, they did that in Demolition Man, so that plays. So, but movies that inspired me, I mean, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Ocean's 11, The Departed, Gladiator, Out of Sight. Huge Steven Soderbergh fan. Yeah, just being methodical and efficient with shooting and telling great stories that are a bit cheeky. That's kind of my, yeah, that's what I look for.
Well, you mentioned the 80s. Do you have any 80s films you're a big fan of?
Mad Max.
Okay.
It's not technically 80s, but the influence that you can see through it is just like it changed cinema. And even Mad Max Fury Road, when George Miller came out with that, it completely reinvented action again. And yeah, he's an absolute genius, bona fide genius.